Kuh.
191, towards a strong dragon. While Adolfo is resting, I tell the ball rabbit that I'll be evolving. Adolfo also seems to be aware of evolution. According to what he knows, after monsters have experienced enough hardships, they go through some phenomenon to evolve. We usually don't concern ourselves, but in the case of something as dangerous as an evil plague dragon evolving, we keep a close watch, but now, I'm simply curious as to what will happen. After that was said, he plops down on the ground. He seems a little lonely. Looking at his arm, I can't help but feel like it was my fault. He also probably realized that he no longer has a home to return to. Even so, I don't think you can make light of this situation. After all, he was sent out here to join me in death, and his city probably already considers him to be a rebellious criminal.
Hey, God's voice.
You know what I think? Although it would be convenient, I haven't really given any good reasons for wanting to be a good dragon. So, at the very least, I asked to be a dragon powerful enough to defeat that hero. I want to be a dragon who could retire to a village if possible. I've been developing my title skills for that purpose. But for now, the main goal is to rescue Nina. I don't want to make friends if I can't even save one of them. Display options for evolutions? It's been quite some time since I've last seen this message. Of course, there's no reason to refuse. I don't know how many evolution options I'll have this time, but I'm going for something that will smash that hero. Since I'm currently ranked B-, there may even be an option for rank A. I've never seen an A-ranked monster before. I simply cannot imagine what would be ranked higher than that centipede. Future. Nameless Ugly Dragon, rank A. Pandora, rank A. Ouroboros, rank A. Gorgon Dragon, rank A. Demon Chariot, rank A. Present. Evil Plague Dragon, rank B. Past. Evil Plague Dragon Child, rank D+. Baby Dragon, rank D. Dragon Egg, rank F.
Huh.
They're all a rank.
That's nice.
For a moment there, I thought there might be a lot of good dragon options, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I can tell just by reading the names. This time around, I'm going to change drastically. Damn, but I did say I wanted more power anyway. What the hell is Pandora? Is this really a dragon? Is it a bread dragon? This list is obviously filled with monsters. PR note. Up until now there's only been one strange choice mixed in, but now it seems like I've zeroed in on all the strange ones. But why? I have a spirit relief and tiny hero built up pretty nicely. Am I plagued by misfortune since I'm an evil plague dragon? Ask and you shall receive. I guess I have to choose from these then? It seems a little dangerous. If I enter Harani, I won't cause too much of a panic, right? Anyway, let's start from the bottom. Demon Chariot, rank A-. Also known as the Wheel of Nightmares. It is said to be a dragon that pulls along the forces of evil. Numerous needles extend from the body as spikes pierce and mutilate the ground. Because the wings have decayed, flying is not possible. Instead, spikes protruding from your hands can be used to climb even right-angled walls. Because it crushes mountains just by rolling, maps become unreliable. What kind of devil is this? It's too strange. Even imagining if there is such a dragon out there in this world gives me the chills. I'd destroy Harani along with the hero with this. And my chances of saving Nina would disappear if I can't fly. If you really wanted to, you could destroy the world. I mean, sure, it would be fun to be a dragon that specializes in a role, but that option is out the door. Next. Gorgon Dragon, rank A-. A dragon with 5 eyes. Each has the power of hypnosis, confusion, paralysis, lethal poison, and petrification respectively. Overlapping these powers will ensure your opponents can't escape and will place curses for the kill. Moreover, you can change your hair into demon snakes. It's A rank, but I don't see any practical use for it. I mean, I don't see a reason why I would want 5 eyes. I don't think I can handle that appearance, and from what I've seen, will this be the final evolution? If it is, then I'll have to keep that appearance for the rest of my life. Ouroboros, rank A. A dragon that knows eternity, contradicting the reason of this world. Ageless. A double-headed hermaphrodite. Its existence is said to be a symbol of eternity and taboo. Rebellious against God with blasphemous life-manipulating magic. HP and MP merge. Recovery magic expert.
Hell yeah.
This absolutely is the result of using spirit relief.
Hell yes.
I'll be rid of the poison as well. To be delivered such a perfect choice at this time. Pandora, rank A? A dragon said to bring disaster to the world. Has a curse that can demonize a person and humanize a demon. Movement is slow, but its body is strong. When dead, it releases a pungent widespread death curse. It is often said that the Pandora is attracted to heroes and will follow them to their home. This one's too confusing. But would I be able to turn myself back to a human? No, I can't be certain. Especially when it's God's voice presenting it to me, and the first line troubles me even more. So, I guess I'll move on to the last? Nameless Ugly Dragon, rank A? Since a human has never come across this dragon, it doesn't have a name. It has an appearance which can only be referred to as ugly. It is not easy to get close as there are always deadly poisons being scattered about. The vegetation will recede and become sparse, the soil will rot, and the animals and people will quietly sleep for eternity. A dragon that travels while dreaming of meeting other creatures. When you find that flower that never rots at the end of the world, you know why you have not come across other creatures. Laying on the floor, in front of that flower, you will never walk again. Really, how would I live like this? I feel like it's some sort of last boss. It's like you're the old maid or joker in a deck of cards. This will be overkill in Harani. The powerful are truly lonely. I want to keep raising my title skills, but there's no time. I have to evolve and raise my level by today or tomorrow, since I need to be at Harani in 2 days. 192 The 4th Evolution. Demon Chariot, Gorgon Dragon, Ouroboros, a Pandora, and a Nameless Ugly Dragon. I'm running circles in my head. No matter how much I think about it, I can't decide. Whichever one I choose, I can only see myself regretting my decision. Nonetheless, after I evolve, I'd like to go back into the red ant's nest again and continue leveling before I head off towards Harani. My level will revert back to 1 immediately after my evolution. If I'm unlucky and I don't get better stats like with my previous evolution, I don't think I'll be able to fight decently. At this point in time, I don't have enough of a grace period to increase my title skills. Should I prepare myself for the worst? Even if I evolve a little early and end up regretting it, it's still much better than letting Nina die. Because I'm not in a position where I can afford any time, I have to give priority to the immediate goal. Besides, it's just a hunch, but this may not be my final evolution. I didn't catch a glimpse of the name Jabberwock on the list from before. Moreover, compared to last time, this time there's no interference from Voice of God. Note, Jabberwock was an evolution option from the last time he evolved. Collapse? There's a saying that it's good to not be guided, as there will be something more glorious at the end. Though from these 5 types of dragons, I don't see anything that I want very much. There must be a good reason for Voice of God to be interfering with me so much because it's been so persistent about it. It pressured me when I tried to choose Little Dragon and baited me with the humanization on the Evil Plague Dragon child when I otherwise tried to avoid it. I chose Evil Plague Dragon only because, frankly, Voice of God denied me of any other evolutionary option. It's hard to believe that I left all the decision-making to somebody else up until this point. Perhaps I haven't reached the end of the path laid before me, maybe it doesn't really care what path I take from now on? So, thinking about how all my previous evolutionary options were tainted black, I can understand why it didn't interfere this time. The choice to postpone my evolution is not an option I can take right now. It's clear that all I've got on hand are impossible evolutionary options, but from here on out I'm going to weed out the evolutionary options that are absolutely impossible to even consider. Using the process of elimination at such an inconvenient time. I'm reluctant, but I'm otherwise out of options. Not Demon Chariot. It's rank A, and it also seems to be ranked the lowest. It specializing in role is something to consider, but still it doesn't seem likely that I'll choose this evolution. Maybe this evolutionary option is the weakest this time around. The only evolutions that I should consider from here on need to have an effective recovery ability, otherwise I'd get defeated by the hero and lose everything. Nameless Ugly Dragon is also a no-go. It would defeat the hero, but it would also likely sink the country as well. I also feel like I should absolutely avoid this one. Deciding on a dragon that spends his entire lifetime in loneliness feels extremely off-putting. Gorgon Dragon, Ouroboros, and Pandora. Right, so I'm choosing from among these 3? Gorgon Dragon is low-ranked as well, but the abnormal status-inducing Evil Eye's ability would likely compensate for its lower rank. I'm only judging these evolution paths based on those explanations that voice of God is giving me, though. It has a ton of eyes and slightly dash, no, very much no. Now's not the time to be saying such things in this kind of situation. I'll weigh the differences of the two that are left over and choose one out of them. Pandora, not having much in the way of speed and scattering a powerful curse upon death are both bottlenecks. To bring about disaster or something like that. Say, do I really want to touch something that carries that kind of meaning? The power to change monsters into humans is attractive, but I'm not sure about the details. Wait, hold up. Just a moment, voice of God, please give me the description for Ouroboros. Ouroboros, rank A? A dragon that knows eternity contrary to the logic of this world. They do not age. A hermaphroditic double-headed dragon. Their existence itself is said to be a symbol representing both eternity and taboo. Going against God, they can desecrate life similar to that of manipulating magic. Their HP and MP are both virtually bottomless. They're experts in recovery magic as well. This could possibly allow me to use humanization as much as I want, wouldn't it? Even if that doesn't work out, it's still a recovery magic expert, and unlike the others, it's not repeatedly described as some cursed devil. For starters, it goes against God, but who the heck is a god? It would seem that you are God, but if that's the case, then why are you talking about yourself like you're some stranger that's somewhere else? What are you? You're still way too much for me to handle. It's a terrible thing to say, but looking at it objectively, it doesn't technically say that it's an evil dragon. It only looks a little bit objectionable from a religious point of view. There's also the possibility that it could be taking advantage of biased phrasing to get me to not choose Ouroboros. Besides, even if this does end up being the worst course to take, at least I'll still have human-like eyes, which is great. Of course, I still have to take into consideration the new roommate I'll be getting. I'm doubtful of whether or not they'll possess my own mind as a double-headed dragon. Moreover, there's the possibility of them rampaging against my will. If I feel that it's too dangerous, then at the worst I may have to forcibly remove them by lopping them off. Alright, I've decided. I'm going with Ouroboros. Goo! I growl while retreating back. They'll be surprised when they find out that I can suddenly transform. Since I don't know its size, I take my distance from a Dofu and Ball Rabbit. I could accidentally crush them without realizing it, and that'd be no laughing matter. The inside of my body starts to become hot. All at once the heat spreads from my head to the scales at the tip of my tail. My whole body melts. It feels similar to when I had used humanization for the first time. I plant my body on the spot, close my eyes, and bear the pain without moving. When I think that I've finally settled down, I feel that something out of place has appeared beside me. Guo! Compared to when I was an evil plague dragon, this cry sounds serene and clear. But I didn't make any cry. For a moment I thought that I had hallucinated myself unconsciously letting out a cry. I open my eyes. Before them is a pale indigo face. Long, white hair covers their head. No, shouldn't I call this a mane? Which one sounds better? Pushing aside their hair, horns grow from their head. The horns are quite beautiful with their tips branching off. I'm sure that the physique of my face resembles theirs as well. I turn my head around towards my back. I see massive outspread wings. Whoa, they're magnificent. Better keep them closed. The wings have evolved splendidly, haven't they? My physique, doesn't it seem like it's changed quite a bit? My tail seems to be longer. With this, it seems like I can increase the variety of my tail-based attacks as well. I drop my gaze. My hands have transformed into something that look closer to 4 feet. I'm not gonna be able to do pottery with these. Evolved from Evil Plague Dragon to Ouroboros. Level of characteristic skill Flight has increased from LV5 to 7. Level of characteristic skill Dragon Scale Powder has increased from LV5 to 7. Level of characteristic skill Dragon Scales has increased from LV5 to 7. Level of characteristic skill Automatic HP Regeneration has increased from LV3 to 8. Obtained characteristic skill Automatic MP Regeneration, LV6. Oh ho, they're going up and up. Both the Flight and Dragon Scales went up by 2 whole ranks. I couldn't fly very well up until now. Automatic MP Recovery. I just got it and it's already LV6. Just the kind of recovery ability I expected with the kind of sales pitch I was given. As for Dragon Scale Powder, I have nothing to say about it anymore. Obtained characteristic skill Double-Headed, LV. Obtained characteristic skill Split Spirit, LV. I'm starting to feel overwhelmed with all of this being shoved in front of me. Obtained resistance skill instant death resistance, LV1. Obtained resistance skill curse resistance, LV1. Due to the title skill Son of the Dragon King, LV, the level of all possessed resistance skills that are less than LV5 will be increased. Odashu. They just keep going up and up, don't they? Level of normal skill Plague Breath has increased from LV4 to 6. Level of normal skill Poison Fang has increased from LV5 to 7. Level of normal skill Paralyzing Poison Claw has increased from LV4 to 6. Normal skill Rest, LV3 has changed to High Rest, LV3. Obtained normal skill Auto Regeneration, LV50. Obtained normal skill Traveling Companion, LV. Level of normal skilled Humanization has increased from LV4 to 7. Level of normal skilled Status Check has increased from LV6 to 7. Let's see, some familiar skill and, hold on, Humanization went up by 3 whole ranks? Does this mean it'll finally be usable? Obtain title skill One Who Knows Eternity, LV. Level of title skill Path of Evil has increased from LV6 to 7. Level of title skill Disaster has increased from LV6 to 7. Level of title skill Mean King has increased from LV5 to 6. Yep, I knew this would happen. Irussia? Species Ouroboros. Status Normal. LV 1/125. HP 195/332. MEPE 83,342. Attack 221. Defense 180. Magic 220. Speed 230. Rank A. Characteristic skills. Dragon Scales, LV7 Voice of God, LV4 Grisha Language, LV3 Flight, LV7 Dragon Scale Powder, LV7 Dark Attribute, LV Evil Dragon, LV Automatic HP Regeneration, LV8 Presence Sense, LV5 Automatic MP Regeneration, LV6 Double-Headed, LV Split Spirit, LV Resistance Skills. Physical Resistance, LV5 Fall Resistance, LV6 Hunger Resistance, LV5 Poison Resistance, LV5 Loneliness Resistance, LV6 Magic Resistance, LV4 Dark Attribute Resistance, LV4 Fire Attribute Resistance, LV3 Fear Resistance, LV3 Oxygen Deficiency Resistance, LV4 Paralysis Resistance, LV4 Illusion Resistance, LV3 Instant Death Resistance, LV2 Curse Resistance, LV2 Normal Skills Roll, LV7 Status Check, LV7 Scorching Breath, LV5 Whistle, LV2 Dragon Punch, LV3 Plague Breath, LV6 Poison Fang, LV7 Paralyzing Poison Claw, LV6 Dragon Tail, LV2 Roar, LV2 Starfall, LV2 Nutcracker, LV3 Humanization, LV7 A Wine Slash, LV3 A Neck Breaker, LV4 High Rest, LV3 Auto Regeneration, LV5 Traveling Companion, LV Title Skills Son of the Dragon King, LV Walking Egg, LV Klutz, LV4 Simple Fool, LV1 Infighter, LV4 A Pest Killer, LV4 Liar, LV3 Evasion King, LV2 Spirit Relief, LV9 Tiny Hero, LV6 Path of Evil, LV7 Disaster, LV7 Chicken Runner, LV3 Chef, LV4 Mean King, LV6 Gutsy, LV4 Big Eater, Giant Killer, LV3 Pottery Craftsman, LV4 Boss of the Crowd, LV1 Laplace's Interference Authority, LV1 One Who Knows Eternity, LV My stats went down. The drop in my attack really hurts. My level should rise quickly within the lower levels, but how high can I bring it up? I think I recall that hero having 600 points in something, but I wonder if I can catch up to that? However, that being said, I don't see any magic that seems to desecrate life. I wonder if I'll learn it after this? I mean, I don't want it, but I'm a little curious. I naturally turn my eyes to the distinct, newly grown head beside me. Gua. Our eyes meet and my partner bares their fangs at me. Seems like they think I'm intimidating them. Their neck is quite long, so it's dangerous. Looks scary too. Gosh, he bit the tip of my nose. Why you dash? This dash. Kuh. 193 partner. Guau. What? What is this girl? Just why are you being intimidating? Lifting my forefoot, I grab the other head and keep it away from me. It's good that I can control my body at least. After evolving, my new partner suddenly tried to devour me.
Guau. Guau. Guaye.
Just a moment. Don't roar so loudly into my ear. I'm only doing this because you're loud and scary. If you do not bite or come near, then I will release you.
Guau.
Regardless of whether my intention was understood or not, my partner becomes quiet.
Good.
I gently release my hold.
Gua.
Immediately, she bites onto me again. What is wrong with this person? Once more, I quickly hold down her head with my forefoot. It might be better if I do this for a little while. I'll have to hold it for a while. It's dangerous to release my grip. Damn it. Was this evolution a bad idea after all? The thought of voice of God holding its stomach and laughing irritates me. Please take this seriously. For the time being, I can be relieved as long as I keep hold. I should report to Ball Rabbit and Adofu that I was able to evolve without problems. Even if they expected it, I think my sudden change in appearance could still cause them to be uneasy. I turn my eyes to look at them. Ball Rabbit narrows its eyes and shakes its small body. Phew. It breathes a sigh of contempt. What? I'm desperate here. Moving on to Adofu, he is reaching for his sword while glaring at the second head. W8. Don't cut it. Surely this girl is a good child. Even a bad girl can be rehabilitated. Don't kill this girl. Though it's sometimes good to remove the bad parts, this head is now a part of me. I can't think of a solution just yet. For some reason, I have a strong urge to resist.
Guau.
It's probable that my companion's abilities would be lost if she was removed. What? Is it okay to release my hold on her? While being on guard, I slowly pull back my forefoot. Our eyes meet for several seconds before she abruptly turns her face away. This is going to be tiring. I don't like the thought of changing seats with the one next to me. This is closer to sharing a room than sharing a body. I wonder if it's possible to use telepathy. As I wonder, Ball Rabbit is already communicating with her as she's roaring a lot. She responds with a voice, but half the time, it seems like she's just playing around. This is a strange conversation, but at least it seems as though they've reached some sort of decision. Hey, can you hear me? I'm completely ignored. What do I do with this partner? She's a bit imperfect compared to other creatures, you know? First of all, is everything all right? Do you understand me? Please lightly roar. Adofu stops reaching for the sword when he hears my voice.
Goo.
I expected the voice of an Ouroboros to be high-pitched, but it seems only my companion's cries were like that. The evil plague dragon's voice was also a little high-pitched. Are you unable to move your head?
Goo.
Yes, unfortunately it seems impossible, I confirm.
Is that so?
After a bit of hesitation, Adofu withdraws the hand that was reaching for the sword. Ball Rabbit looks at me with dead fish eyes. Anyways, let's think about what should be done next. My present status will not be enough. My HP and MP went up, but my defense is not very high. That hero could defeat me with a single attack. The number of heads has increased, but there is clearly no cooperation. It's possible that someone is pulling my leg. This will be a hindrance in the battle with the hero. I'll seriously be sent flying once I'm in his field of vision. Once again, it is necessary to go to the red ant's nest. The ants themselves don't yield much experience. Instead, I need to obtain it from their queen. There is no doubt that a leader is commanding their movements. It is the nature of ants to have a queen, after all. Surely it will give out an abundant amount of experience. The red ant's combat abilities should be greatly diminished, and my strength should jump up from the continuous battles. As my level increases, I'll reach my previous level of strength quickly. I'm an A rank anyway. I think it should go well. But in order to go into the red ant's nest, Ball Rabbit's light will be necessary. Today, I will go hunting to raise my level in preparation for battling the red ants. Meanwhile, I think the Ball Rabbit and Adofu should take it easy and rest. Tomorrow, I will defeat the queen ant to raise my level more and then enter Harani. I would like Adofu to help, but his dominant arm has become useless. It's unreasonable to make him go, only for him to become a sacrifice. Without Adofu, I would have already died once the red ants had assembled. It seems like he can still do everything like before, only he doesn't have as much power. Though I have never used a sword, I understand that it is a fatal wound for a swordsman. Because I became a dragon specializing in recovery abilities, I may get an ability to fix Adolfo's arm. It may be better to have him wait outside when we enter the nest of red ants. Because he's still able to swing a sword, he still has combat potential, but I can't expect him to perform as well as the last time. It might be harsh, but it is probably best for Adolfo to hear this now. If he feels that he'll become a burden, Adolfo will probably step back. I have come to understand him these past few days. It is impossible for Adolfo to be unreasonably selfish, and he is experienced enough to know his limits. I know he has more determination than I do.
Gu. Pefyu. What will you do?
Adolfo lowers his gaze as he looks at his right hand. After that, he bites his lips and slowly shakes his head. I'm sorry, but I do not have much strength. Nevertheless, if you want me to accompany you, I will come along. But if the time comes, I want you to abandon me if something happens. Is he no good, after all? It seems that Adolfo will be outside keeping watch. While he may be attacked by monsters out in the desert, Adolfo should be able to repel them. For now, I will go hunting alone to see how I have changed.
Kuh.
190 for an odd couple.
Gu.
I run through the desert with all 4 feet, shortening the distance to the prey. The target is the 3-headed camel, mortar camel. This guy is delicious on its own. But one day, I'd like to try pippery with it. Nog. Nog. The 3-headed camel runs like its life depends on it. Its speed is only at about 1/10 of mine. I don't even have to use roll. While running, I slowly accustom to this new body of mine. Although I say changes, the overall physique is the same as the evil plague dragon. The only difference would have to be the length of the arms. Which is fine when all is said and done.
Gua. Gua. Gua.
But the head to my side is troublesome. Barking while shaking your head and neck. Won't you please forgive me for running so fast? Wait, maybe, is this fellow a baby? Will they be all right? I feel like they're going to be a lot of work. While running, I smack the other head against the ground. Please be quiet for a moment, will you? Obviously, I also felt that.
Gua.
It quiets down for the time being. I come up to the 3-headed camels, rear up and swipe at it with my front claws. The camel falls to the sandy ground while spurting out blood. 27 experience points obtained. Title skill Walking Egg, LV, activated. 27 bonus points acquired. LV of Ouroboros, increased from 1 to 5. Even a 3-headed camel raises my level this much. It's easy enough to raise when in the lower levels, so if I farm the red ants again, then I can probably easily rise to level 40 in about a day. According to my previous experience, I could probably raise it to the max level of my last evolution fairly quickly. Anyway, I wonder how my stats are doing. I rush ya? Species Ouroboros. State, normal. LV, 5/125. HP, for 19/424. MEPE, 430/430. Attack, 253. Defense, 204. Magic, 256. Speed, 250. Rank A. Characteristic skills. Dragon Scales, LV7 Voice of God, LV4 Grisha Language, LV3 Flight, LV7 Dragon Scale Powder, LV7 Darkness Attribute, LV Evil Dragon, LV Auto HP Recovery, LV8 Presence Sense, LV5 Auto MP Recovery, LV6 Double-Headed, LV Spirit Split, LV Resistance Skills. Physical Resistance, LV5 Fall Resistance, LV6 Hunger Resistance, LV5 Poison Resistance, LV5 Loneliness Resistance, LV6 Magic Resistance, LV4 Darkness Resistance, LV4 Fire Resistance, LV4 Fear Resistance, LV3 Asphyxia Resistance, LV4 Paralysis Resistance, LV4 Illusion Resistance, LV3 Instant Death Resistance, LV2 Curse Resistance, LV2 Normal Skills. Roll, LV7 Status Check, LV7 Scorching Breath, LV5 Whistle, LV2 Dragon Punch, LV3 Plague Breath, LV6 Poison Fang, LV7 Paralysis Claw, LV6 Dragon Tail, LV2 Roar, LV2 Star Drop, LV2 Nutcracker, LV3 Human Transformation, LV7 Wine Slash, LV3 Neckbreaker, LV4 High Rest, LV3 Auto Regeneration, LV5 Traveling Companion, LV. Title Skills. Son of the Dragon King, LV Walking Egg, LV Klutz, LV4. Simple Fool, LV1 Infire, LV4 A Pest Killer, LV4. Liar, LV3 Evasion King, LV2 Spirit Relief, LV9. Tiny Hero, LV6 Path of Evil, LV7 Disaster, LV7. Chicken Runner, LV3 Chef, LV4 Mean King, LV6. Gutsy, LV4 Big Eater, Giant Killer, LV3 Pottery Craftsman, LV4. Boss of the Crowd, LV1 Laplace's Interference Authority, LV1 One Who Knows Eternity, LV. As expected of an A rank. It's wonderfully cluttered. I want to keep raising them at a good pace. Now then, I should quickly make my way back with the camel. I crouch and take the bloodstained camel with my mouth.
Gwa!
Again, my partner suddenly barks. When I look, I see a light forming. The light covers my partner's head and the scratches on her face start healing. You used High Rest without permission. It was just a scratch, it would have healed soon enough. Why didn't you just wait for auto HP recovery? It's worrisome that you would use magic for something such as this. Well, since there's an auto MP recovery, it shouldn't be too detrimental. This fellow doesn't even take anything into consideration. They're the type to only learn high-level spells in RPGs and end up dying for using it willy-nilly. We have to be careful in conserving our MP. So do the skills we can use differ? This is bad. What if we were given different abilities to balance out our roles? Should I test it out?
Good.
After putting the camel down, I turn my head up and use High Rest. Spectacularly, nothing happens. I reflexively look at my partner.
Guo. What's up?
She seems to say. She seems to immediately lose interest in me and turns away to look towards the distance. Seriously, my precious recovery magic and this foolish head who thinks nothing of it. Isn't this the worst? My partner was chosen to take the best qualities I had. I will be fine since I have auto regeneration, but if the ball rabbit or Adolpha happen to get injured, I will have to depend on this head, and maybe even have to prostrate myself to get her to comply. I turn and try using Plague Breath and a Scorching Breath. Seems like I can use them normally. That's good. Not only can I still use them for different tactics, this also means I don't have to worry about my partner spraying it everywhere. It's a likely possibility with that fellow.
Gua?
The hell are you doing, is what her eyes seem to say while looking at me. I'm being fussy because of you. Don't look at me like it's somebody else's problem. It would be pretty bad if both heads were able to learn different skills, wouldn't it? According to that explanation I received during my evolution, treacherous to God with blasphemous magic is something I'll be able to do from now on. But then I remember that idiot of a partner shaking their head around. I guess this was somewhat of a regrettable evolution. Despite the power-up, this partner of mine is kind of useless. Perhaps it's not yet wise to go against those red ants.
Kuh.
195 the next day. Feeling a strong light, my groggy mind clears. I raise my head. The sunrise can be seen over the desert's horizon. Finally, tomorrow is the date that Nina is scheduled to be executed. Before the day is over, I must get past the lower levels in order to defeat that hero. For that sake, I have no choice but to attack the red ant's nest. That C-rank monster den, I will completely destroy it. I feel bad for the red ants, but not killing them would be impossible. I don't have the option of abandoning Nina. Are you awake? Adolfo stops swinging his sword and turns his head this way. He was awake the entire time. I'm not sure of when to attack the monsters, but it seems possible to take revenge on the red ants when they are asleep. Even if they aren't completely asleep, they can still become stiff from fatigue. This was a tendency from the time I spent as an evil plague dragon. Even now, has he not stopped swinging that large sword? As expected, he must have some regrets. Even with my High Rest, I can't heal Adolfo's arm. Because it's my skill, I somehow understand it instinctively. The rest skill line most likely strengthens one's vitality and accelerates the healing process. Auto-regeneration could regenerate the damaged body part, but it can heal only me. If I keep raising my level, could I learn a skill to fix Adolfo's arm? With a wry smile, Adolfo puts his large sword back in its sheath. He just made an awkward expression, didn't he? It's too much to worry about. Goo. In the middle of this awkwardness, my neighbor yawns. This person, at such a weird timing. I gently headbutt my partner.
Guau.
My partner, now awake, lightly shakes her head and barks "Guau." Her head suddenly shines with light. She seems to be using a high rest. Being wasteful again. Well, I guess it's fine. At least I will have recovered by the time I next need it. Because of that fellow, I was not able to eat a thing last night. She was agile when she took the food and swallowed it whole. Well, in the end it goes into the same stomach, so there shouldn't be a problem. Though there is a longing to put something in my mouth which would help in relieving my temper. In any case, I won't have to worry about having another mouth to feed since our meals will be the same. I'll leave the support up to her. I'm trusting you. I'm really trusting you to do it. Yesterday's poison dumplings barely had any effect. This time, Adolfo will also not be there too. Although the total number of ants should have greatly decreased, having 2 heads is a minus to my fighting ability, but it is still sufficient enough to say that it'll be easy to kill several at once. The time limit is close. I need to start leveling soon. Ball Rabbit's MP should have already recovered. Once it comes out, we'll quickly head towards the red ant's nest.
Guau guau.
My partner sticks her nose into the ground and starts digging. It's similar to what I've seen dogs do in my previous life. Moving as if digging up prey, my partner raises her head. Ball Rabbit scratches her teeth with its ears. While being lifted up, Ball Rabbit shakes itself right and left. Its eyes look at me in annoyance.
Phew.
It's not my fault. I was going to wait until you woke up. This fellow used present sense at her own convenience to dig you up. For the time being, let's look at Ball Rabbit's status to make sure it's fully recovered. Alright, it looks good. There's no choice but to get up already. The Ball Rabbit is in a bad mood from being woken up, but it doesn't want to go back to sleep. I decide to have Adolfo wait near the red ant's nest. He himself thinks that he could become a burden. There's no need to forcibly bring him along. I want Adolfo to stay alive. Although he was at one point helping the hero, we've already been living together for a few days. I owe my life to him. After this battle is safely over, I want him to live happily somewhere. The red ant's nest comes into view. Should Adolfo separate from us here?
Ghoul.
I look down at Adolfo and bark. My intention seems to have been understood and Adolfo stops walking. Well then, I pray that you have good fortune during your fight. I am sorry that I am unable to help.
Ghoul.
Thank you. Leave this fight to me.
Phew. Phew. Let me down. Let me down.
Once again, my partner holds Ball Rabbit's ear in her mouth, drooling. She seems to like carrying the Ball Rabbit. While unskillfully trying to regain control, she bares her fangs at me. Because I did not want to disturb her mood, I allowed the Ball Rabbit to be the sacrifice. However, this will be a battle. It will be troublesome if I also have to fight the other head. She won't be able to fight well if her mouth isn't empty. I must get the Ball Rabbit back.
Ghoul. Guau. Guau.
Because she was trying to resist, I firmly hold her head down with my forefoot and have her release it. I place the Ball Rabbit on my head. The Ball Rabbit clings tightly to my head with its ears.
Phew.
Detestable. Geez. That girl. Detestable. It looks very angry. Now will you stop bothering the Ball Rabbit? Am I going to be hated for this? My partner looks lonesomely at the Ball Rabbit intermittently. Although she doesn't like it, she does seem to like the Ball Rabbit.
Détestable.
The Ball Rabbit shakes its body while clinging to my head. It's the first time that I've seen the Ball Rabbit this angry. Honestly, she looks satisfied for some reason. When I think about it, she is part of me.
What should I say?
I'm getting a subtle feeling that I'm on bad terms with my friends. I'd be happy if we got along well. Well, before that, I should first listen to what they have to say. 196 Surrender. I continue down the crimson-red passageway. I'm feeling overpowered by the unnatural atmosphere here. My partner is being unexpectedly quiet.
GA.
It's good that you're quiet, however you could be a bit more mindful about where your head's at. Since it's quite narrow, my head will be the one scraping against the wall if you're too close. My horns are throbbing but they won't break, right? Occasionally, my partner sneaks some quick glances towards the top of my head. She seems to be mindful of the Ball Rabbit's illumination skill. You were literally dangling the Ball Rabbit from your mouth just a few moments ago. Give it a rest already and just stay alert for any red ants. As I advance, I see nothing that even remotely resembles the red ants from a little while ago. Maybe it's because I wiped so many of them out last time? I had annihilated them by using poison, but none of them are lining the nest. The red ants will be able to heal over time as they also possess recovery skills. I wonder if they've cooped themselves all up in anticipation of me plunging back into their nest while planning to assault me all at once. They could at least have a few on lookout. But then again, they might be trying to make me lower my guard. They may have altered the inner layout of the nest as a countermeasure against me. Now that I'm thinking about it, isn't this my third time going in? It feels like such a long time ago that I entered the nest in order to escape from the huge centipede and got the shit beat out of me.
GAA?
My partner raises her voice and tilts her head. Seeing that, I use presence sense and feel the faint signs of monsters at the end of the passageway. Did I lose to this girl in terms of sensing their presence? This doesn't sit right with me. I'll have to be a bit more alert. Any monster that's here is without a doubt going to be a red ant. However, this presence feels oddly weak. That's why I was so late in noticing it. Its movements are sluggish and I don't sense much hostility either. Has it been considerably weakened? No, this feels like there's more to it. Before long, 2 red ants appear from out of the darkness at the end of the passage. The 2 red ants stop when they see me and the 2 nod towards each other.
Kacha! Kacha!
The 2 ants let out a cry, turn around, then point their butts in my direction together. They don't try to run away and remain rigid. Well, what is this? Is this by any chance a display of courtship? I won't be happy even if I'm popular with these red ants.
Pefew. Surrendering?
Huh? That's a little troubling. If I'm unable to level up with the red ants, then I won't be able to catch up with the hero's stats. Well, what should I do about this? Should I completely trample these red ants that have no will to fight? Back when I was hunting, the camels would always do something like this. However, I'm not completely resolved to use this opportunity to thrust my claws into the red ants' backs. Alright, I've decided. To say that I could get to this level by not killing red ants would be rude to a dofu who went above and beyond to save my life. Nina's life is on the line too. Gwa! I lift up my forefoot while letting out a growl. The red ant hunt this time is like a match that's full of openings. The higher my level rises, the more at ease I can be that everything will go according to plan. I'm lucky to have here 2 red ants that are lacking the will to fight as my prey. This is fine. I won't hesitate. I'll quickly strike the back of the red ant's neck, giving it an assuredly fatal blow. If I disable one of them, I can beat the other one with ease. I shouldn't try to take on both of them. But rather, I should bring down one of them without fail. I ready my forefoot and aim at the nape of the defenseless red ant. Then, at the exact moment I put strength into my hind legs.
Gwa! Guo!
My partner suddenly begins to rampage. She violently shakes her head left and right while raising her voice. My posture collapses. I stretch out my foreleg to pin my partner down. My partner adeptly slips through my forefoot and stabs her horns into the base of my throat. Why hey? Seriously.
Stop that. Guh. Gah.
We end up biting each other. Performing a biting feint, I purposefully swing my forefoot and miss while using that opening to thrust my fangs at her now defenseless snout. I clamp down on her nose and jaw with my fangs, fixing her mouth in place in order to prevent her from opening it. I've won this fight. The differences in our abilities is too large.
Gah.
My partner lets out a frustrated groan through the gaps in her teeth. Seriously, cut it out. Hearing the noise of one person playing 2 roles making a racket behind them, the 2 red ants turn around.
Kacha!
Our great queen, Wise. Will overlook compensation surely able to prepare. Place negotiation, want you to.
What'd you do?
Ball Rabbit's stable translation. It seems like the red ants seriously intend to surrender. However, as expected, their leader is a queen ant. No, I can't affirm that it's an ant just yet. After all, I did see that instance of a slime commanding Mahar wolves. The possibility that other species have taken over command is not zero. Even if they do say that they want to surrender, I want neither food, water, nor gold. What I desire are experience points. It doesn't seem likely that their boss can easily prepare something like that for me. And I want it here before the day is over. Besides, there must be a crapload of other ants besides the queen. If negotiations break down, then they will fight on the spot. If I end up going to war with a massive amount of red ants along with their boss in tow in such a vast space, then they'll almost certainly swarm and kill me. A large flock of soldier ants is already more than a handful. If I'm to meet their boss, then I'd prefer to raise my level and weaken their war potential. As before, should I kill these two right now? No, but there hasn't been a single red ant here up until this point. It would be better to assume that the red ants have already gathered themselves all in one place. Taking down red ants on my journey through the nest while heading towards their boss. Yeah, I don't see that happening. If the other side is seriously willing to negotiate, then wouldn't it be a better idea to just go along with it for the time being? Ball Rabbit's telepathy doesn't lie. The chances of a surprise attack are low. I'd rather pretend to go along with their negotiation in order to be sure of the location of my opponents. Besides, there's a lot of them. It's a little cowardly, but it may allow me to take advantage of an opening. Naturally, I'll assume the worst and stay vigilant while moving accordingly. They may have some method of deceiving telepathy. It's possible that they're trying to lure us into a trap. For now, should I just go with the flow? I'll pretend to not mind the outcome while pushing my request through, and if they show any signs of suspicious movements, all I need to do is rampage around. I release my partner from my mouth and turn to face the red ants. GAA. Pefew. Guide whether to negotiate, choose talk. However condition, kill all you immediate as soon as look like betray, let bite you once. I will give the two guides status abnormalities with my poison fang. It's important that I do this. Given that my level right now is low, both of these ants will be enough to sufficiently raise it. The moment this suddenly turns into a free-for-all, I can quickly take those two down and procure experience points from them. If such a thing happens, dealing with it then will become considerably easier. I'll be able to judge if the other party is telling the truth depending on whether or not they'll accept this.
Kacha. Kacha.
After the red ants once again exchange glances, they plot over here in a way that says it can't be helped. Pefew. One at a time, come. That's also important. If both of them approach for me to bite them but decide to attack, things could turn slightly dangerous. If it's just one of them, then I'll be able to suppress them. After I finish this, should I have them wastefully shoot their clay gun at the wall to deprive them of their MP? It's from there that they then start guiding me to where their queen is at. If there's an indication of anything suspicious, I want to be able to immediately exchange them for experience points using Wind Slash.
Kuh.
197 Queen of the Red Ants. I intend to weaken the two red ants tasked with guiding me as much as possible while I check their status. Having inflicted them with poison using Poison Fang, I then have them waste their MP by continuously shooting clay gun towards the wall. Alright, that should do it. Like this, I can defeat them with Wind Blade in a single hit, and since they're weakened by a status condition, they shouldn't be able to dodge properly.
Gua.
My partner peeks at my expression from the side. Don't look at me like that. It's not like I'm doing this because I want to.
Kacha. Kacha.
The red ants call out to us and begin to walk forward. They're presumably signaling that we should follow them. Even I can understand that much without having it translated for me. As we head deeper into the red ant nest, I stay alert using Presence Sense. After walking for a while, Presence Sense suddenly starts reacting vigorously. It's not just one or two, but dozens of targets ahead. It might be a bit troublesome if we're swarmed. I stop and bark good.
Kuka?
The red ants stop walking and turn back. Ball Rabbit, I've got a message for those two. Tell them to bring their queen to me. Without any escorts. Queen, bring over here. Alone.
Kacha.
Hearing our demands, the red ants cry out worriedly. Seems like this is a tough demand for them to meet. Still, this demand is a must. It's obvious that I'd be in a bind if I were to plunge into that swarm. By self can't decide. Queen, we ask.
Guh.
I let out a small bark to inform of my approval. The two of them intend to go over, but I call for one of them to remain here. If the other party's boss does not accept our demands, a large group of red ants might possibly come our way. In that case, this one will be valuable experience points before the battle. I can't have it running away. One red ant heads towards the deeper parts of the passage. After waiting for around 5 minutes, a red ant nearly twice the size of a normal one appears from the depths of the passage. Its abdomen in particular is swollen, and it moves while dragging it along. Its movements are slow, possibly due to its position where mobility is not essential. There are no escorts. As requested, it seems to have come alone.
Good job.
The large red ant cries out in a deep voice. For now, I'll check its status with the status check. Species, Queen Red Ogre Ant. Status, normal. LV, 31/70. HP, 421/421. Mepe, 928. Attack, 198. Defense, 276. Magic, 179. Speed, 97. Rank B. Characteristic skills. Earth element, LV Sociality, LV Pheromone, LV. Red sand, LV Auto HP recovery, LV5. Resistance skills. Physical resistance, LV4. Normal skills. Telepathy, LV6 Bite, LV4 Clay, LV5. Clay gun, LV5 Auto regeneration, LV6 Sand breath, LV4. Spawn eggs, LV8 a wide rest, LV4 roll, LV3. Title skills. Fully evolved 1, LV Queen Ant, LV. Master of the Nest, LV Many Children, LV Max. I see. There's no mistake that this is the queen. If it fought with me with that status, the likelihood of it surviving would be high, but its MP is empty. I guess that's from constantly restoring the statuses of the red soldier ants that collapse due to abdominal pain from the poison. However, it's convenient that it possesses a high-level telepathy skill. If that wasn't the case, negotiations would prove difficult. The queen ant comes to a halt some distance in front of me. Numerous red ants can be seen glancing from around the corner of the passageway behind the queen ant. Maybe they're to come out if it comes to it. The queen ant turns its head and glares at the scampering red ants in the back. The red ants quickly pull back and scatter off. Perhaps they were concerned for the queen and came to check on the situation without permission.
Kacha.
The red ant I kept as a hostage let out a small cry. It was a cry filled with awareness of its own insignificance. First of all, I am thankful for accepting negotiations. We bear grudges towards each other, but let's restrain ourselves. Now, with this the introduction is over. The telepathy comes from the queen ant. There aren't really any grudges on our side though. However, if that was a snide remark, I'll just take it with a grain of salt. I have certainly not come to chat while standing around. I don't have that kind of time. Let's get to the main topic. Dragon, what do you wish for? If food, we will give all things in our nest. But could you please pass up on that? It would be fine to accept those conditions, but I am not in need of food. I see, then is this retaliation against your previous expulsion? Other things I can offer are this nest. And lastly, I could offer to give you young red ants. The nest, young red ants. I don't really want either. Well, that's how it is. If possible, I'd like them to go along with it, but the red ants can't be expected to easily offer what I want. What I want is experience points in order to level up. The time limit is by the end of today. If that cannot be arranged, you'll sadly have to pay with yourself and your subordinates. Oh, experience points. For what cause? Experience points, don't you understand? Well, if they live by fighting off invaders, they'll of course be aware of it. It was surprising that Adofa knew, but to think the ants knew as well. Today you said, if you will fight something tomorrow, we can give you our aid. I see, that's the kind of approach you're taking. In order to subjugate the hero, the ants are a little. Then how about that? If a swarm of red ants enter Harani, a great panic might occur. It might be possible to rescue Nina and Adofa's relatives during that time. However, I fear that I'll be driven out by that hero. I've only ever faced him once, but I'm confident that he'll do that much, to say the least. Red ants are not particularly quick. If I were to escape together with the red ants, he'll surely catch up with us. If the red ants and I were to escape separately, they'll definitely be killed once that hero catches up to them. And even if the red ants and the current me were to clash with the hero, our victory would still be in doubt. First of all, the hero doesn't have the size a large centipede does. And yet, he does have stupidly high stats. At most, only 3 of us would be able to face him at once. So if 3 red ants were to face him simultaneously, he'd still be able to calmly deal with that. In contrast to his physique, his attack range should be absurdly wide. As for that hero, there's no choice but to face him with stats of equal rank. I can't imagine taking him on with numbers being a good plan. Victory would be more likely if I were to challenge him after leveling up by defeating red ants. So that won't work? Then, I will hand over 10 subordinates. Leveling up by killing them is fine. I will have them come before you one by one following the timing you wish for. A realistic proposal has been made. When it is said by a boss in this manner, it carries a fairly heavy meaning. How many are left in the nest? The timing is bad. We do not have a surplus. We have already been considerably reduced in numbers. This is the most we can do. Seems like the numbers will not increase any more regardless of what I say. There must be more than 30. Can this be seen as a shortage of workers? This one said this while understanding that I might act violently if things were to go poorly. If that were to happen, they'll be wiped out. The minute I agreed to negotiations, I might have been seen as naive. Besides, it's not the words which are perceived, but the thoughts themselves. There's also the possibility that my hesitation to wipe out the red ants was noticed. The reason I have heard your demands is not only for you to state your requests. It is also within our ability to foil your plans if you do not accept our demands. Do not forget this.
What? Don't tell me.
You're threatening to equalize the losses, enforcing conditions to reduce the casualties on your side? If this condition cannot be met, I will commit suicide. Also, those subordinates who can move will scatter, and they shall kill those who can't. Either way, if you take any more, we will meet our end. As expected, my weakness was discovered, huh? No, this is a gamble established from their acknowledgement of being lower ranked. Having my weakness found out doesn't sound right. Wouldn't it be better to say that I'm being looked up to? The Queen Ant seems to have concluded that I won't resort to retaliatory behavior such as driving them to extinction. I guess the experience points I'll be able to gain will be practically none if I get angry now and reject the conditions. By training the ball rabbit and utilizing the strategy with the centipede dumplings, I found out that the amount of experience earned is most likely linked to how much one contributed in the fight. That is only natural though, it is combat experience after all. If I trample over an enemy who from the outset has no intention to run or fight back, the amount of experience points gained will not be large. They dare to push the limits of this wager. It's a negotiation technique rooted in game theory, based on the assumption of me being rational. Being evaluated as smart by its subordinates was no exaggeration. 10 red ants, huh? If they were to be safely obtained, they'd surely become convenient experience points. But will that really be enough? The experience points gained will surely also decrease according to the difference in rank. The Red Ant Queen quietly observes me being troubled. After having seen my reaction, do you intend to change your method of negotiation once more? If so, it would be disadvantageous to openly display my emotions. That being said, I can't let it show on my face. Damn it, I seem to be taken advantage of just by thinking about it. I'm envious of my yawning partner next to me who's just spacing out. To observe means that there's still a chance to make good use of the information gathered from doing so. In other words, do you still have something else? Are you holding back? As the leader of a nest, the other party also has things they can't concede. However, I too am in dire need of experience points, no matter how few. Was it perhaps a mistake to initiate negotiations? To have the other side turn the tables on me? I never imagined them using my objective against me after luring it out of me, and to be imposed on by threatening an impasse. Without negotiating, the Queen did not have the option to have her followers commit suicide. As a consequence of me being enticed by my opponent to blurt out my objective, the upper limit on the amount of experience points I can gain has been greatly limited. 198 negotiations. 10 red ants, will that really be enough? Frankly speaking, I can't really estimate how much my level will go up by. I won't be able to catch up with the hero. Backing down is an option, but if I can't catch up with the hero by defeating those 10 red ants, I'll be at a considerable disadvantage. Should I forcibly restart the negotiations? The other party must want to avoid death after all. They threaten to commit suicide, but if they are cornered to that extent, it might be just a matter of obstinacy whether they go through with it. Well, but can you not accept this condition after all? I don't understand the mentality of my negotiation partner. Is it a bluff, or is it their last resort? I did not expect to lose to the red ants in negotiations. Hey, Ball Rabbit. Can't you read my opponent's intentions with telepathy? Like, how serious are they with the threat of suicide? Pefew. Think maybe it used to. Can control self, don't open think. Well, the Queen Ant's telepathy skill level is higher. Then might it be possible that our side's information has been one-sidedly revealed? According to the previous explanation, it sensed our intent to this extent. I suppose if the skill level is that high, then the gap widens. If this drags on, wouldn't that be disadvantageous for me?
What should I do?
Should I probe the situation from a different angle while changing my approach? But will that work against this one? Would this superficial tactic not fall apart if it were to be discovered by the mind-reading ability of telepathy? Even if it is so, I really don't know as to what extent telepathy can do so. I need some kind of alternative. You wanted experience points, but I cannot grant you any more red ants than this. But it's not as if there aren't any other alternatives. Noticing that I'm troubled, it makes a new proposal. It is a bit further away, but there exists another swarm of red ants. How would it be if I were to tell you its location? Having me overlook their hive by selling out another one, is that it? A frontal assault on a hive of perfectly healthy red ants is a bit too risky. There's also the chance of that being a lie. If I were to head out and search for the red ant hive, it would not be strange if you were to flee from the nest during that time. Also, it's doubtful whether ball rabbits' lie detection ability could take on this one based on their skill levels. It might be an attractive proposal, but the risk is too high. Then I will lend you my soldiers. Save for my escort of 5 ants, they shall join you. Is that all right? But you mentioned only 10 earlier. It is not like it is a certainty that they will die. Besides, there is territory at stake. To that degree, a compromise is possible. The queen ant appears to be slightly vexed. This really seemed to be its last resort. We've been deep in talk until now, and there's something bitter about being declined while being forced to compromise. I probably can't expect the terms to become any more favorable than this. If this drags out, I'll be probed by the mind-reading capabilities of telepathy. It's possible that my weakness would be further laid bare. Then is this the point of compromise? I'll still be treading on a dangerous path, but I'll also have the red ants backing me up. There is little time. Now, let us leave this place. I will immediately send my soldiers to the surface. Before that, bring the injured red ants before me. It must be a lot of effort to have them leave the nest. I'll have them recover completely with my recovery magic. Oh, understood. After entering the depths of the nest, the queen ant returns with about 20 ants that are on the verge of dying. It seemed that there were some wounds from when the passage caved in that can't be healed. If it were just red ants with miscellaneous injuries, then there seemed to be more than 40 in total. The red ants approached me cautiously. I glanced over at my partner.
Gah.
No, why do you seem like expectant? Only you can use restoration magic.
Kuh.
199 Red Ant War. We left the red ant hive. Adolfo had been attentively watching the hive's entrance since the time we separated. Upon spotting me, he hastily drew closer. Are you already finished? That was pretty quick, wasn't it? No, it's dangerous to come closer right now. Since there are red ants approaching from behind. Using gestures, I hurriedly conveyed to him to not come over here. Adolfo stopped moving, furrowing his brows with a suspicious expression. That following moment, a swarm of red ants emerged after me. Adolfo's facial expression twisted even more.
Nephew. Things change.
Must go immediately. Nodding hesitantly while looking over here from a distance, Adolfo hurriedly distanced himself. I wonder how Adolfo has taken the situation this time. He probably never would have thought that I had been deceived at the end following negotiations and had been made a soldier for quarrels between the red ants. After leaving the hive, I joined the red ants' ranks. Well then, let's have them guide me immediately. When assessing the number of red ants, there are about 30, aren't there? It'd make me shiver if they were enemies, but right now it's reassuring to consider them more or less as allies. It's a fighting power equivalent to 30 little rock dragons, which can destroy a village. Are they really allies? It isn't a trap, is it? If I were to be on the receiving end of a pincer attack, I won't escape harm. Now from red ants, can't read hostility. The ball rabbit calmly replied to my doubts. Even if you can't read the queen's thoughts, you can read those of her subordinates. If there was something off, ball rabbit would surely say so, and there would be no real point in asking now. But even though the situation had turned out well not long ago, I am still on my guard. But there's also the possibility that, as a countermeasure to telepathy, the queen had lied to her subordinates. No, that can't actually be the case. I'm overthinking it. Even if the queen were to trick me to that extent, it wouldn't be able to have its subordinates move efficiently. but still antagonizing a fellow red ant hive. It really is a territorial issue, isn't it? A bit like, oh, the son of your house is doing some hunting in our territory. Perhaps it's also the case where me having defeated the giant centipede has caused the power relations within the desert to fall into disarray. After having marched for a few hours, 2 red ants detached themselves from the swarm and ran ahead. The other red ants don't seem to pay this any heed. Thinking that it might perhaps be better if I were to also follow them, I hastened my footsteps, only to have a slightly larger red ant at the vanguard who seemed to hold a commanding position. Bark Ikacha. Kacha at me? Seems like I should stay here. The red ants surely have their own way of doing things. Since I have little reason to go against that, I guess I'll obediently go along with it. After not even an hour had passed, the 2 red ants returned. They come to face the red ant commander and have some kind of talk. It appears that they were doing reconnaissance. Huge as I am, I surely am not fit for that. Ball Rabbit, do you understand what they're talking about over there? Don't understand well. Thing like how formation and attack. I don't know anything about the red ants' offensive tactics. Will we be alright? There's no such thing as coordination between us, and even at this point in time I still can't distinguish between ally and foe. They're all red ants. They could at least draw some kind of mark on their backs so I can differentiate between them. I wonder if I can do that with something like pheromones. The ants might be able to differentiate the distinctive features of their faces though. The commanding red ant closed in on me. It seemed like it had some kind of business with me. Kacha kacha. If you would, Ball Rabbit. Don't understand well. I ask make easier to understand. There are times when even Ball Rabbit doesn't get it, huh? Or has it said something rather strange? The red ant commander drew a circle with its forelegs and aptly pointed at it with its legs as if wanting to say, do you understand? Go. Sorry, I don't really get it. Kacha. The red ant commander cried out in astonishment, then added a sketch of an ant poking its head out of the circle to it. Is it the red ant hive? Kacha? Gwa. Indicating comprehension, I barked gently. Again, the red ant commander moved its front legs, adding lines and whatnot to the surroundings of the circle. Slightly away, it drew a number of circles and something resembling a dragon. It appears that it's instructing me on how to attack. The several circles seem to be my red ant allies. From there, it drew many arrows. I think this is the route in which we will scatter and attack. When I twisted my head when a triangular shape was added, it redid the sketch of the dragon, having thought that it was hard to understand. No, not that. I get the idea, but it appears to me that the triangular shape represents the enemy red ants. We'll split into front and rear lines, and the first attack will be from the front. During that, the front line will split into 3 separate groups. After that, the enemy red ants will come out of the hive. Then the rear will infiltrate the hive while those enemy red ants are being baited and lured out by our front line. There are no more particular instructions after this. Perhaps it thinks that it's alright to just send in a few units then let us move at our own discretion since it is too difficult to anticipate any movements from there on? Or perhaps it doesn't really know in what way to utilize me. Well, if that's the case, I'll just move according to my own discretion. I'm afraid of mistakenly crushing a comrade, but it's good that I can differentiate them with telepathy. Or so I hope. I'm part of the central front lines. It appears to be fine that the rear only consists of 5 units. I wonder what 5 red ants could do, but I guess red ants have their own style of combat. However, as for all this amount of information being communicated with cries, I guess it can't be helped that Ball Rabbit wasn't able to translate all this. It's possible that it might have transmitted the battle strategy in name only. After having moved further forward from there, we came to a halt. It seemed that the enemy ant hive is already very close. 5 red ants hurriedly skittered away somewhere. That's most likely the rear unit taking a roundabout path. Kacha! After roughly 10 minutes, the red ant commander let out a cry. Upon hearing this, the other red ants all became fervent. Kacha! 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 Without delay, they advanced at a speed that can't be compared to that of just a few moments earlier. Having been left behind for an instant, I hurriedly followed after the red ants. After advancing a bit, a wide red hole in the ground came into view. There's no mistake, this is the red ant hive. Upon drawing closer, enemy red ants started gushing out of the hole. 1, then 3, then 4 appeared. And in order to report the situation, 1 red ant returned back into the depths of the hive. Kuh! 200 outbreak. I ran along with the red ant assault group. The red ants here, split into left and right wings of 10 ants each and a center line of 5 aimed for the enemy's hive. I'm part of the central line. I haven't seen them yet, but I'm sure the 5 ants that went ahead a while ago are making a detour to take a roundabout path from the back. It's just like the formation I was shown by the red ant commander a while ago. There still aren't more than 10 enemy red ants that have come out of the hive. We have 30 on our side. Seems like we'll be able to easily suppress them. However, it won't be over with just this. There are surely more to come. I want some experience points, no matter how little. Kicking the ground, I sped up. Passing my red ant allies, I charged into the group of enemy red ants near the hive. Unlike the narrow hive, it's spacious here, and I won't be subject to a pincer attack. If it gets dangerous, with my base speed I can temporarily retreat and recover with auto-regeneration or high rest. Because my max HP is high, I shouldn't easily sustain a fatal wound even if I am lynched. 3 red ants appeared before me. The other side seems to have also split their forces into 3 groups in response to us. Most likely their objective is to buy time for allied reinforcements to arrive from the hive. Right now they hold less fighting power, so rather than attacking, they must devote themselves to defending. Since that's the case, their movements also became limited.
Go!
Kacha! Kacha! Kuka!
The 3 red ants lined up horizontally and fired clay gun. It'd be to my enemy's expectations if I were to awkwardly stop and take a different path. Their aim is to stop me here. What they fear the most right now is me rushing in through the shortest route. Intentionally not dodging the small rocks, I blocked all of them with my arms. If I charged in with the intent to strike and attack to a certain extent, they won't be completely taken aback. Moreover, rather than dodging poorly, they'd avoid attacks that would deal fatal wounds. It's fine to not pay heed to the clay gun, which were fired while estimating my evasive behavior. Well, it's an option I can choose since I have restorative abilities and my HP is high. But I'm definitely protecting my head. I can't have Ball Rabbit fall off.
Kacha?
The red ants that attacked under the assumption I'd let them dodge take a step back. As expected, they would be surprised at me dashing straight forward despite them attacking with the intent to buy some time. It was a good feint. Still, that was reckless, wasn't it? Blood is running down my arms and legs, and scales have peeled off here and there. I also have automatic MP recovery, so let's recover, just in case. High rest is more efficient than auto-regeneration, but the skill of high rest is held by my partner.
Go!
I barked at my partner.
Guo!
My partner turned her blank gaze towards me. No, I'd like you to use recovery magic.
Jie!
My partner cried out, and light enveloped my body. My wounds closed before my eyes.
Kuka! Kacha! Kuka!
The 3 red ants attacked simultaneously. The red ants turned up before me and suddenly split into 3 directions. I hit the middle ant with a headbutt and smacked the one to the right with my tail. Rather than focusing on sheer power, I was focused on extending my tail. I want to kill them one by one. I leave the red ant coming from the left wholly to my partner. I take a quick glance over to the left.
Guo!
Gua!
My partner bit into the red ant's abdomen and smashed it into the ground. Well done, you can do it if you try, can't you? Lifting my upper body, I spread my wings and flew to the rear, kicking the ground with my back feet. The 2 red ants that flinched from my headbutt and tail swipe don't throw themselves at me. Since their objective is to buy time, they probably have concluded that they must not chase after an intruder in case they distance themselves. Without delay, I soared up into the sky. Thanks to Fly having leveled up, it's easier for me to fly than before. I'm most likely also able to perform more complicated maneuvers than before, but it's for another time to verify that.
Kuka! Kuka!
The red ant in my partner's jaws struggled violently. I've flown up so high in order to kill this one with certainty. Since I'm still at a low level right now, by killing one ant in itself, a level up is to be expected. Even if that buys the enemy red ants time to call for reinforcements, I prefer it like this.
Gua!
Losing against the struggling red ant, my partner released it from her mouth. I opened my big mouth and bit into the red ant that was released into a free fall from my partner's restraint.
Kacha!
It seemed she was careless because she thought it would just drop to the ground.
That's a shame.
I have 2 heads after all. I actually kind of want to directly smash it into the ground with Nutcracker, but I think the recoil of that skill would be too much to bear for Ball Rabbit. I pulled my head backwards, then swung it forward violently, throwing the red ant downwards.
Kuka.
I straightened my wings to increase my falling speed and vigorously dove after the red ant falling to the ground. As the red ant is thrown to the ground, I decided to shift my body in a roll-like manner in order to axe kick it.
Gjord.
The red ant's body fluid splattered across the ground, and after its body spasmed slightly, its breath died out. 243 experience points obtained. Title skill Walking Egg, LV, activated, 243 bonus points obtained. Level of Ouroboros increased from 5 to 15. Since a 2-rank difference has opened up, the amount of experience points obtained has decreased a bit. Nevertheless, it's still profitable. As expected of an A-rank monster. I can feel my physical abilities rise by a remarkable amount upon leveling up.
Kuka.
The previous 2 aim at me now that I have descended and shoot clay gun. Again, I blocked it with my arms. The impact itself was transmitted, but this time there was no damage to my scales. I might be able to do something against the 2 of them if it's like this.
Kacha. Kacha.
A large number of red ants poured out of the hive entrance. Those are the red ants that were called by the one that withdrew to the inner parts of the hive. 20 have already come out, but I can see no indication of that process stopping. The difference in combat strength has already been turned around, hasn't it? If I were to be swarmed by such numbers, I'd end up like the giant centipede from some time ago.
Kacha. Kuka.
From behind, my red ant allies drew closer. Overtaking me in that manner, they headed towards the swarm of enemy red ants. I also promptly joined them.